Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. We did tell you before we went on that break that today on the program we'll be celebrating an enigma, a legend, living legend at that, the pioneer of juju music in Nigeria, and of course still alive, still kicking, still doing music and still wowing people not only in Nigeria but also on the global scene. Today we'll be celebrating KSA at 78. Of course, it turned 78 sometime in September. And joining the conversation today is a media executive, Otumba Femi Davis. Thank you for being here on the program.
Thank you very much.
Right. Let me ask you, which of Sonny's music is your favorite?
I think I'll start with the one he released as far back as 1983.
Which is?
Synchro System.
Why does everybody like Synchro
because
System?
For the first time in the history of Nigerian music, we have something of international standard. You know, and till tomorrow, if you listen to that music, you wonder if it was not produced yesterday.
Okay.
Music is not even about language.
Right.
That's what people like KSA have proven to us. Music is a combination of rhythm, sound, noise, to the delight of the audience.
Right.
That is my own definition.
Okay.
I don't know what the professionals will call it.
Okay.
It's actually an organized nonsense. So for it to now sound good in your ear, then it means that the person has done a lot of work.
Right. I mean, for you to choose Synchro System, and right now I'm just looking at one of the stage performances of KSA of the Synchro System in Germany, and looking at, you know,
the white audience.
Yes, the white audience. It didn't look like they knew what he was saying, but they were following the rhythm, and you could also see KSA himself doing the call and answer to the audience, within the audience. So again, just corroborating the fact that, you know, music can be seen as globally. But for you, I mean, so KSA at 78, I still saw him less than 2 weeks ago perform, and I still looked at this man. He didn't sit for hours, and you know, he was still there. Over the years, what are some of the things that you've seen him hold on to as the kind of music that he plays?
Now, what KSA is all about is his craft. And I see a man who is conscious of his professional calling, with the maximum discipline that anybody should give his trade. If KSA has a performance here tomorrow, he will set up today. You know, because he does not want embarrassment, he does not want anything to go wrong. He's so organized that if he has an heavy gig on a Saturday, he will cancel his Friday show.
Oh, wow.
So that he can sort himself. So that love for what he's doing is what has made him what he is.
Right.
Agile. Now, KSA, many don't know, brought us from the sitting orchestra music. When we were listening to Akpala, High Life, everybody would sit down.
And
they were doing the R&B or like that. He got everybody up.
Right.
And he's still getting everybody standing. Because if KSA decides to sit down tomorrow, it becomes another style. Everybody will now start sitting again. So that is how pragmatic, how strong, how dedicated to his craft the KSA is. Right. He started his career the same year I was born. Imagine. So he has spent almost 57 years
on stage. Right.
And for such talent to come out of Nigeria where we have thousands of talents, is, I can conveniently say, after late Fela Anikulapo Kuti, KSA is one of the greatest exports we have from Nigeria and Africa.
Right.
That ecosystem gave KSA his first Grammy nomination.
True.
So when you're talking about musical achievements, because he was not on the throne during the social media era,
True.
most of these things we need to remind ourselves.
Right.
And such delight that till today, I've never seen King Sunny Ade perform outside Nigeria on his own. He's not the one that will come on stage and say, DJ, track 5. He goes with
his full band.
like an orchestra. And that is he insisting that I would rather not do this show. And he has agents that are not Nigerians, they're not Africans, they are white angels who get him to concerts and festivals all over the world.
Let's talk about what you've just mentioned, and that is the fact that this is a man that has full control of his band.
Yes.
He does nothing without his full band.
Yes.
And he plays the guitar, he plays a lot
Keyboard.
of musical instruments.
But his greatest love in terms of equipment
is the
talking drum.
Yes, talking drum. But then, of course, you'd always also see him with his guitar, and he has his ensemble, and he has a beautiful stage presence. Yeah. Would you say that these are deliberate acts by him to have a full control of his band? Can you separate KSA from his band?
No, KSA is music. Music is KSA. And he's one of, that's why I said, because he will not go and do solo performance, he knows how he keeps his band together. You watch a video 20 years ago, you will see the same set of people. They all grew together. When he needed to inject fresh blood, he just did maybe 2 or 3.
Shuffling.
Yeah, you will miss some bad members because some died. Yes, exactly.
Some didn't come back with him to the country.
Especially because they were performing with somebody with multiple lives. KSA has too many lives. We don't know which, whether second or third or fourth or fifth that is using now. And I pray that it stays with us for long. So that we will not be one of those that we have to start celebrating when they are dead. It is so sweet celebrating KSA and that it's alive. Last month he said, we wanted to celebrate. He said, doesn't want noise, doesn't want anything, it's fine. He just wants to be quiet about it and all that.
Okay, so if we also take a look at KSA, he's also a very good dancer. So is that also part of, him keeping his band and creating an identity for himself?
Now, what he's doing is what we call showbiz. The show is what KSA is all about. His costume, his choice of shoe, his choice of, sometimes he put on the headgear.
Right.
When you see him, if we don't know him before, the first thing you ask your next to, is this person a musician? He represents himself 100%.
Okay.
Now, when I say attaching discipline to what you are doing, obviously he will rehearse. He will rehearse. I've not seen any artist in Nigeria that dances with so much energy and passion the way KSA is doing. I don't know.
Okay, right. We know that a couple of times he's also gone into acting.
No, it's not a couple of times. He's a full-time actor.
He's a full-time actor.
He was with Baba Salah.
Yes, he started with Baba Salah.
And when they say there's this thing they call, when you graduate from training, they will do freedom for you. And if you are lucky to watch Orumoru, you will know that. It's because KSA, I don't know, his choice of name, his choice of attitude, the only thing I believe we are missing in KSA is actually to see him as a traditional king. But in terms of music, in terms of entertainment, he is a king.
Right. He's also one who is very big on the kind of message he creates with the song. And I see that also as being deliberate. He's one that promotes the Yoruba language, and of course teaches a whole lot of lessons in his music. Would you also see that as one of the many selling points of KSA? The
many selling, yes. KSA is one of those when we were practicing our journalism in the 90s, early 2000s, we called them street musicians. It's unfortunate that that language has been abused now. KSA will talk about what is going on.
Okay.
KSA looks at, okay, Ogun as a traditional form of what Yoruba celebrate. You will dedicate an album to it. I remember when the military leader then, Muritala, was assassinated. He just came with, Lọ́jọ́ kẹtàlá oṣù kejì o, ọdún 1970. That word, up to tomorrow, when when I was writing, when was Muritala assassinated?
That song would resonate.
So that is what it was deliberate about it. And when President Babangida was doing MAMSA, projecting MAMSA,
yes,
KSA was part
MAMSA.
of. So when you talk about breastfeeding, talking about Africans going back to agriculture, those are things that.
And then of course the one he did with Oye Conweno on
no,
that's
that's mind blowing. That's never thought of. That never. It was still tomorrow, till tomorrow, our greatest musical export in the world.
All right. I know that earlier on, just before we came on air, you asked me a question, which I threw back at you, and I said I was going to ask you on air. And then you mentioned it in passing while talking that after Fela, King Sunny Ade will probably be another of our greatest exploit. But I did ask you on air this morning, are they at par?
In terms of love for what they do,
okay.
Yes. In terms of dedication, because you can fault late Fela on anything, you cannot fault his music. You cannot fault KSA on his music.
On his music.
As at 20 years ago when he came up with, maybe 20 or less than 20, he just said, when I heard that song, I was like, Ogun Odunle Neo Awala, it was like, this man doesn't know what he's talking about. In 20, 30 years, he should
have fizzled out.
Here we are. It's still number one.
Did he see the future?
I think for their generation, and it is clearer then, there was no internet, so they can see better.
Internet has blinded, blinded us right now.
We all our eyes now inside the phone.
Is there, and
the
so
minute
when
your phone is not with you, you feel naked. So we don't look up. You know when you look up to the sky to get inspired, but now you look into your phone,
and that's all you can see.
That's all.
That's all you can see. Well, I mean, you talked about the fact that that his performance with Oye Conweno remains one of the very best, one of the greatest thing that's come out from.
Do you know the message of that song?
Family planning.
Thank you.
Yes, family planning.
Yet, even the people that they were communicating with were adopting that song out of love. They don't even know.
They didn't know that it was a message.
If you love me, you go wait for me.
Sex before marriage.
Do you understand? Having babies, not be joko. You go feel that. Out till today, that music is relevant.
Right.
But now we are in the era of baby mama, baby daddy. So they're not waiting again.
They are not waiting again.
They're not waiting.
But would you also say that KSA, in terms of collaboration, there are young artists who would also still want to do some kind of work with him? Is KSA that available to collaborate with younger artists?
The producer was asking me that when we said, why did you bring him here? I said, it's difficult to get, but I said, because you don't understand the temperament of this man. He loves peace. He doesn't want stress. But if you convince him, because I remember that KSA was one of the first set of artists that decided to go solo on having their own label.
Right.
It was a battle against the Abioro family that is still ongoing till tomorrow. You understand? He chose to take his own future by his hands now, and that is what is benefiting now. Because the truth of the matter is that if you continue to just we sing, and he did the show, and he's doing the business. That if you need KSA, if KSA wants to release an album tomorrow, he will organize a press conference. He will be there to address you. If you show support to what he's doing, by the time you need him, it will be easy for him to fall in line.
Right.
You understand? So believe me, I believe that we have not, some of us we just have that general notion.
Okay.
Musicians are not available. They don't want to talk to media. You understand? We should make attempts first.
Okay. Before we know whether or not they're really there. If, like we said earlier, international recognition, you cannot take away that from King Sunny Ade. He's even known in other parts of, especially in Europe, more than other artists. Is this also something that you see as one of his legacies? And if peradventure he leaves us today, has he made enough mark for his music to live after him?
I don't know. For this lifetime, I'm not talking about this generation. I'm not talking about next generation. I'm not talking about Gen Z. I don't see anybody coming out bigger than KSA.
At the moment?
No.
Why?
I've seen him perform in China. I mean, that's the end of the world. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's not about what he's saying. What I'm saying is that when Nigeria was crazy about Awilo, was he singing in English?
No, he wasn't. He was singing
Okay, from that side of Congo, have we had anything bigger than Awilo?
Not yet.
So the truth of the matter is that the dexterity, the flexibilities that he exhibited it showed from when he was, because KSA with guitar alone, I remember that, I don't know, as at 5 years ago, up till about 10 years ago, 7 years ago, American Embassy Consulate in Lagos to invite KSA to come and jam with a jazz band that they bring in from America. So if there's going to be a continuity, I should be seeing that person behind King Sunny Ade to say, okay, by the time he decides to take a bow, we hope in this. But all these new generation artists that by the time they release an album 5 years, it's becoming old school.
Right.
What do you call what King Sunny Ade sang 30, 40, 50 years
we'll call it, maybe not old school, but we'll call it...
evergreen.
Evergreen, or music of yesteryears.
Now, for the Juju artist, as old as he is, we're talking about 78, he's still singing. He will still churn out albums. For the Afro that we're selling to the world now, once you are close to 30, you have become Baba in the industry. And that's...
by the side. But the genre of music that he does, which is Juju music, are you worried that it doesn't look like there's much happening with that genre of music?
On the global scale, yes. But down traditional grassroots, I believe there are about 4 or 5 Juju artists in every street in Yoruba states. In
Yoruba State. So why are they not as known?
Let's use this place as an example. These premises. Today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Come and check out the halls. You will not see a KSA there.
Right, but you see those bands. and they're making...
And what will happen is natural development in the kind of Juju that we're talking about now.
Okay.
We know that the evolution of the hip-hop class will now have those who, because they're now a bit educated, avoid the Fuji kind of music. That's a typical nice was a Fuji artist. And Olamide's mentality is from the Fuji background. Same you will pick from all these modern artists too. So for Juju, when we look at the Segun Benson, the Johnson, the SB Live, there are many of them.
The bands.
The bands now, that's what they do, whether you like it
or not.
Or yes.
So they're a replica
Juju music.
of Juju music.
Because KSA took Juju out of highlife.
Okay, and created a niche.
And gave it Juju music.
Okay. All right, of course, it's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. We've been talking about the man himself, Juju Maestro, King Sunny Ade. Let's take a quick break to watch another of his video, and when we return, the conversation continues.
My young girl, love is there for body. This thing they call love, no serious affair. Make you think well before you agree. I beg, if you not like, you plan I'm well. Oh yes, man. If you love me, you will wait for me. My dear friend, what be there for your front? Take your time, oh, make you no spoil 'em. If you make children, are you ready to care? If you love life, you go plan on well. You dey hear me, sir? If you love me, you go wait for me. load, load. Why put down for another person head? Plenty children, they say, insurance for old age. Papa said make we marry, Mama said make we born. Plenty children there, but no food to eat, oh my friend. This kind life, is so wahala. If you love me, wait for me. Happy parents, happy children, happy family, that's my happy country. Make your plan well, enjoy your life. Oh, if you love me, you go plan with me. If you love me, you go wait for me. Wait for me, baby, plan with me.
And the king himself, King Sunny Ade, talking about Wait For Me, a song that still resonates till today, and talking about the need for us to plan, of course, raising a family. And of course, if you listen to the lyrics of that song, so many things to pick up from that song, where people will continue to have children and say, but they are your children. Know your children, let me know mine. Don't put your burden on my head. Of course, like our guest said here, that particular song, not so many people, of course, got the message in that song. They were just enjoying the beats and, of course, the dance, but, of course, the message remains evergreen. Femi, going back to the king himself, would you say, or how would you describe his influence on modern music as of today? There are a lot of people who still see King Sunny Ade as their mentor and who would also want to infuse either some of his beats or some of his music into what they do. So is it one that the younger generation will always look forward to?
Till the end of time, yes. I remember that at least there's this very viral video where it was going to be on the same stage with Wizkid. It went all false. Now, I can confidently tell you that the desire of the new generation to climb the global stage was inspired by the videos of Fela and KSA that we see performing to international audience that are predominantly white, not the usual Nigerian local Owambe setup. Don't forget that the essence of KSA's music is supposed to be a black entertainment. You understand? And it's for housewarming, naming ceremony, birthday parties, government events and all that. But it went so many steps ahead. And until the end of time, it will continue to be an inspiration.
Right. King Sunny Ade, I mean, we've talked about most of his music. They remain relevant today. And that is one thing that the younger generation also needs to learn. Lyrics remain very key and they're very important. How worried are you that this generation, the kind of song they're doing, may not stand the test of time?
Okay, let me share a personal agony with you. When we were advocating for local content on radio, our belief is that traditional music will get all the attention it deserves. And suddenly, we have all the attention. We play more Nigerian music than the foreign. Because we grew up, with whether we like it or not, our radio stations were blasting Michael Jackson and co. Then, so in our head, if we can have even 60% Nigeria content, local content, then 40% foreign, we don't mind. That was how we were even negotiating. Now we have radio stations that are playing 100% Nigerian music. But what are they playing to us? The content, there's no control. Everybody just, where the lyrics of A does not have anything to do with B. I don't want to sound like criticizing, but like a line like, Macaulay Marale, excuse me, Warale, Wawakole now. Do you, first of all,
build before you
buy land if you don't want to run into problem with government? So Nobody controls all these things. And they say it's street slam, it's street jam, it's what's going on. And that is why they don't survive. Because it comes with that feel that, okay, but say something, and you have said it, and that's all.
Okay.
But he will sit down. What is sang about Ogun? What is sang about family planning 30 years ago is still relevant. You understand? They research. I remember that when King Sunday Ade, his own generation, when they released album, we first of all wait at bus stop.
To listen.
We'll listen to it. When you now think, okay, it's making sense,
Then you go
you now say, you now buy. So if we get to that critical position, I think artists will be more concerned about what they are showing out.
Okay.
There are some tapes that you will not take home.
You dare not.
Or your mother, your child will now say, Mommy, focus me. In fact, you first of all go to the school. And I think you guys don't know what you are doing.
Why is my child
where
singing
did
there?
this child, where did he hear this song?
Right.
You know? So I think they too should be deliberate.
Okay.
In the kind of music when they because sometimes I listen to a song and I said, this person when he's doing this rubbish, when they call him, he will say, I'm in the studio. So this is what you are in the studio doing.
I mean, valid points you raised here. And of course, if you take a look at some of those things and you put them side by side with what great artists like King Sunny Ade have done, you will, of course, feel like the way you're feeling here today. But before we allow you go, I mean, you're a big fish in the media world. And so now that we have you here today, let's quickly tap into your growing up. Did you grow up in Lagos?
Yes, I was born.
Bread, buttered?
No, not bread. Bread was just on Sunday when we come from church. So we had other things during the week. So
like, tell us.
Cook out.
You must be from a rich home.
No, Mushin. All this one I'm saying is Mushin. It's
Mushin,
a template.
Cook out was in Mushin.
There was a middle class.
Okay, true.
You have B2 and 504 in your compound.
Okay.
Middle class.
Okay.
So we are not buoyant.
Right, but you're comfortable.
And we all are, till I finished my education, I attended public schools.
Okay.
So I'm a product of public school. In our time, if you go to private school, you are Olodo. You were advised to withdraw from
So they had to take you to where they could push you.
The way that can concentrate or tolerate when your parents have money, they can tolerate you.
Okay.
That's why
public school was for
private school till tomorrow. They don't come and say your child is first, this one is second. The one will not pay again. All the money I'm paying will now came 30 out of 31. I know, you know. So all these things. So I grew up in Lagos.
Okay.
And I grew up in the major streets of Lagos. I was born in Mercy Hospital.
Oh, Lagos Island.
But I was staying in number 16 Dera Street, Mushin. I went to Abule. That's why I'm very close to King Sunny Ade's background. Okay. I was going to Abule Okota Primary School before we now moved to Oshodi. You can imagine. So Oshodi, I was in Mafolu West. My primary school was Mushin West Local Government Primary School. When we were doing morning
afternoon and afternoon.
Morning and afternoon. So when you say super spoon, I know that the spoon is lost. Wooden
spoon.
Or they come with what you will wash your hand with. When you know how to wash your hand, you can sit down with elders. So before my dad got lucky, he played Lotto for Festac 77. Okay. We now had to move to Festac. So that butter aspect of me now
came to your local
so
aspect.
Bring anyone I did. Form butter we did. When do local, remember?
Do streets you did.
Do streets. So Lagos. But I only went to Abeokuta, where I'm originally from, to study mass comm.
Mapoli.
Yes, not Mapoli.
Where?
Ogupoli. Thank you very much.
Ogupoli. Right. So tell us. I mean, you've talked about the fact that you grew up in Mushin and then later in Festac. If you take a look at your growing up years, what are some of those things that you miss, or you look back and say, this was Lagos?
Lagos then was all about. Lagos, we say, was a no man's land by virtue of those of us who grew up in Festac. In fact, the language of Festac is English and Pidgin. Because there are outsiders.
It was a unity area.
So that you don't need to come out to say, maybe by name. That's when we say, okay, you are Tunde, okay, you should be Yoruba. Oh, you are Yakub, okay, you must be Hausa. But it was not a bane then. And even when I started journalism we trek.
From?
Anywhere to anywhere. You just do upping, you know. Maybe something takes you to Maryland.
Okay.
You trek to Palm Grove. You not take something to Joelegba. You have 5 clubs that you want to go and cover.
5 sporting clubs or the football?
Events,
okay.
clubs.
Oh,
As
okay. Entertainment journalist was entertainment. Yes. Okay.
So, Skindles, Fastlak was in Apapa. Skindles was in Joelegba. In Maryland, on Island, you understand, John Chukwu class was on Obafemi Awolowo. You must be... See, there's no journalism anymore. Everybody has become journalist. Once you have a smartphone, it's not social media, it's even the smartphone now that is smarter than the others. You understand? A journalist will see a KSA and he'll say, he's writing a report to, I saw KSA driving on Allen. I beg, somebody who lives in Lagos, we need not pass Allen. You know, so journalism has gone to that level that everybody's just lazy. But that time, it's the story that you write that will determine whether you'll be paid your salary at the end of the month. Okay. That's even if the salary is going to come. You know.
Adebimpe and Joy, just you need to also be part of this conversation. We're talking about Femi's Lagos here, so I'm going to ask him another question, and then we'll come to both of you. I mean, you've talked about how you grew up in Lagos, what it was at that particular point in time. How adventurous were you while growing up?
As a journalist, you are notorious now.
I didn't use the word notorious. I used adventure.
It's a positive notorious, not negative now. Okay. Because up to today, people are not ready to open up to journalists. And I have a business to do. I must write story. Do you understand what I'm saying? So whether you like it or not,
must talk.
You must come. We must make you talk. In fact, at the point we said, no comment itself. It's a comment.
It's a comment.
Because the first exam I did in school, test, that all of us failed. So we should cover an event in UNAB where the petroleum minister then was going to come and deliver a speech. So the lecturer said, go and cover that event. That's your first news reporting assignment. The following day, when the man came, he said, how far were you? No, sir, nothing. He said, why? He said, the man did not come. He said, okay. I said, so there's nothing to report. Oh,
that's the news.
So I will not put it in front of paper that the event did not hold. Though. My reporter was there. I'm sorry,
the minister did not come.
You did not find out why it did not come, what the organizers have lost. But, you know, when he was not asking, we're not like, oh. He said that your O is O over 20.
That your O.
So I don't need to, when you tell me to cover an event, I don't need to be there from the morning. Anytime I get there, I look for the human angle to it. So that's what made us exceptional. Okay. Not yesterday, the budget was read. No, we could be outside. Even you are not opportune to be where the governor or the president is reading his budget.
There's something happening.
Stay outside. While he was talking, the people were complaining. He was not going to reduce the price of Gary. He was not going to complain. It was not talking about...
So you've taken it out of the event?
No, so we were trained to look for. You know, when this one is not thinking outside the box, stay inside that box and look for your stories.
Okay. Joy?
Okay, for me, it would be, what were some of the values that you upheld from when you were young and it has kept you going up to now?
I think the little level of discipline I chose to imbibe by myself, because we had freedom. The minute you get admission to our institution, the first that rings in your head is freedom. I don't think my parents came to visit me in school more than 3 or 4 times, putting a 4-year
into
stretch.
Consideration.
So some of us were already having living lovers, as in that you know the husband and wife. You understand what I'm trying to say? So all those things, I don't know. It was not just comfortable with. We are 9 boys, no girl. So there's
in your family.
Yes. So the way I view the female, I'm not used to it. I don't have a sister.
Okay.
You understand? I have cousins, but once in a while when they come to our house. So from that background, it was even for me to even relate with the female. And you see, some firstborn, and you know when everybody says you are brilliant, you have no choice to become a fickle. You know. So it was like I'm representing a generation. I have to. I don't want to disgrace my generation. I don't want to disgrace my family and all that. So basically, it was there. The opportunity, like I said, growing up in Mushin, you already have a sample of what you don't want to become.
Okay.
Do you want to become like Said, that is at the junction, that is already, when, even the names they give themselves, Broken Bottle,
I dig something.
you understand? So by the time you just know that why these ones are example of what is not positive. I want to be sample of what is not negative.
Okay.
Now, even in my practice of journalism, I can stand and say, I believe in constructive journalism. Let's build, let's promote, let's push.
Right.
So
And not
I have
spoil.
all the connects that I have today are people that they will say, he contributed to my career, he helped me, he did this. Not that satanic journalism that,
he's
this
will
guy,
come, you know, I
by the
don't want
time
to see him.
he was passing, he didn't greet me. He didn't greet me. By tomorrow morning, he will enjoy himself. You know?
Okay, Adebimpe, do you have a question?
Yes, I want to take him back to when he was in secondary school,
Okay.
or maybe even in uni. Having lived in Mushin, you must have been up to some kind of pranks as a young man or young boy. I'd like you to share the most memorable one.
The first one is that your parents will tell you, me, you know, my daddy, just tell me. You will tell them, they will not say you can't go. If you now go, your crime is, you went. So, and I measured it that, okay, if I didn't tell you, the crime is, you did not tell me. That's just one point. Rather than, that you told me, and I
said
told
you should
you
not
don't
go. And you
Now,
went.
so I stayed on that one. When we were in first start, everybody will be forming mature. My parents were mature. They are, you know, like saying they want ja. My parents, they don't care, you know. So, but me, even the sight of my daddy low, I know that I'm in trouble. And I'm the one that is leading, we must go to that party. So one day, we planned. So, of course, parents then live regulated life because they have to go to work.
To work the next day.
What we all watch together is network news. Once, pam, we off the
Everybody
TV,
goes to bed.
go to your room. So, because if it was Mushin, where all of us were staying in one room, it's easy for your daddy to know. You cannot go anywhere. But this ones, you have your room. So you will now go, open everything like that and just go. By the time you come back, it's the where you spread your clothes that you put the one you will wear, you have put it there in the evening. So it's normal nightwear that you now leave that one on the night. I now came back, I did not see the nightwear. I knew that there was problem. So part two, let me now enter the house. Everywhere is locked. This I already calculating. You know, our generation, when you get home late, you first go and touch the bonnet of your daddy's car.
Is it hot? Did it just
If
come
it's
back?
hot, you will come and say, man, I saw you when you were passing. I just went to. But when it's cold, you know that your punishment is going to be served very cold. So, what do I do? The more I'm wasting time, the more they will still say, look at the
He has not
time.
come back.
I just went to the main door. I pressed the bell. The whole house, the bell of that time, when you press it, your neighbor will hear. So when I pressed it, every light in the house just came up. They were gathered.
Waiting for you.
And who's supposed to be the black sheep of the family, he now came inside. The only thing my dad said, look at, he said, and you are my firstborn. That was a strong.
You know, he touched you.
And he just went to sleep. But even at that, I could not sleep with my two eyes closed. Because sometimes
You were not sure if he will still come back.
we just wake you. My friend,
Get up.
And you will see my mom behind him. Because all the
I've been warning you. I've been warning you.
She will not be putting her own. Like she's filtering in the body.
They never make it better.
Tó bá ránṣẹ́ kò ní dá ẹ lóhùn. Mo máa pé kó o ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé òun ò gbọ́. All those ones you had.
Self and injury.
Like this. So one day I just woke up and they called my name. You know the way our parents call us, you know the level of crime.
Yeah.
So when you hear Femi, you just look even till you get there like nothing. And I heard Femi and then
There's trouble.
what did I do this time around? And I entered. I just saw my file on the bed. There's a file, you know, we have slum books, letter that we wrote to babes in a file.
Hey.
When I saw it like that,
You knew that there was trouble.
that one, I just went and I fainted. I woke up in the hospital. First time I was seeing myself in the hospital bed for real. And when I saw them again, I fainted again. So,
I don't want to wake up to this.
the doctor, smart doctor, just said they should excuse us. And I said, continue to faint. They are going to beat hell. So, but I will talk to them.
Oh my God.
By the time he was now shaking my leg like I'm coming back to doctor. And it was only my mom that I saw. She was not crying. She must have me the
Okay, then.
I can
like, go home.
They were
Nobody
pampering
said
you.
anything. When I opened my wardrobe, my shelf, I saw that file.
It's there.
Everything. I took it, went to the bedroom, put inside water, soak it with hot water, flush everything. And I like, no evidence. I can face them. Till now, nobody raised that issue.
Your fainting worked for you.
And that's about the only time I fainted in my life.
Okay, time is fast spent. We really need to go because we have other guests already waiting. But in 30 seconds, we'd like to take your view on the concept of this show this morning. What can you say?
Okay, now, I'm sure most of you don't know. I had my first intern here, 1989, 90. So I was shuttling between Radio Lagos when it was down
the valley.
And TV here. So we were 21 sent from our school. I was head of that IT student.
the team.
You understand? So radio TV had been something that we were hoping it would become what it will become today. Because then there was no private. Everything was so. It's either you end up, you now want to, for all some of us who have made up and never to become civil servants. Not deliberately, but because you know that for you to be able to maximize your capacity,
you need
to do it outside that confine of restrictions and all that. So that is it. Now, when I was invited, I got the message. So I already have a relationship, emotional attachment and relationship with Lagos Television. So I've watched the progress. I've watched one government coming into the other and all that. So, and the conversation. So, me, ordinary me like this. I will now call on that because I watch when I'm lucky to wake up in the morning because I'm a late night person.
Right.
I usually wake up from 11, so that's why I had to have my brother to come and wake me up.
So that you'll be here early enough.
If not, I will just wake up around one like, so definitely things like this. Good thing that we're not coming to talk about somebody who is dead. We're not looking at, okay, come and give us background information about what he was.
Right,
no.
celebrating him while he's alive.
Somehow he will get to see this and he'll be happy with himself, feel fulfilled. So I believe that the creative concept of this program, you understand, and as long as you make it more interactive, bring in more people, you have, because now you have 3 women. Guys should be represented too.
No, they are. They are just not on set today.
Okay.
It's not just about us. They are not just here today.
So that the male interest,
Yes,
you've already
is also
dominated us, you've taken over the world. Now we want to have American president that is female.
Yes, now
We
it's
have
doable.
GM that is
That
female.
is
Everything
It's female.
Atiba. No
You've had your fair share as well.
But we were measuring it now.
Okay. Time is fast spent. Thank you so much, Otumba Femi Davis, for finding time to be here on the program today. We appreciate you. We do hope that you'll find time to be here again. We'll ask our friend here to come and wake you again the very next time.
No, even if it's going to be regular, I'm willing to.
You're willing to. Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break, and of course, when we return, the second part of the conversation takes away from here.